we got a real surprise for you this morning. Actor Daniel Baldwin, who's not far from Western New York, is actually going to be scouting out some locations to shoot a new TV pilot. And he is on the phone with us this morning. Happy New Year, Daniel.
Happy New Year to you. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, absolutely. Now, Daniel, I said you're not in Hollywood. You're actually right here in New York State, right?
Yes. My mother, with all of her charms, we got all of our acting ability from my mom, and she lured me to move to, I live just north of Syracuse, right on Oneida Lake in Cleveland, New York. So I live up here. I know all about the snow. You tell me 55 on Saturday, and I'm thinking golf club.
That's right, baby. You got it. We got to spread the word. All right. Now, I love the fact that you're looking to shoot a new piece of work that you want to be in here in New York State. So tell us about this new TV pilot.
Well, you know, we're already committed. It is taking place. It's loosely based on 3 books that were written by a writer who is from Buffalo, New York. Nick is a working class kid who grew up in Buffalo, and he wrote these 3 books. The interesting thing about the pilot episode is that we're starting the series 3 years before the first book, timeline-wise. So I'm really not 100% sure after the pilot what's going to happen with my character, but I do know this. He's in the book. So I'm not going to end up, in some meat plant somewhere hanging from a hook freezing to death. I think the exciting thing about it is that when you think Buffalo nationally, of course, you think of the Bills, you think of Jim Kelly, and you think about snow, and there's quite a bit more that goes on. And Buffalo is a very diverse city, where we still have been able to hang on to those values up here, which is why I moved my children up here to grow up in upstate New York. And Western New York, same thing. We're very closely related. And, to tell stories about Buffalo and to let people see how beautiful Buffalo really is as a community is really a plus for me. It's something that when I tell people about it, it's not the most, tourism-wise attractive city for people around the country because they don't know about it.
Right.
Well, they're going to learn about it now. They're going to learn about it.
That's fantastic. And, of course, the executive producer you're talking about is Nicholas Denman, who wrote the book For Nothing. And as you said, he's 3 books in now. So do you know what kind of locations you're going to be scouting?
The last thing Nicholas and Russell Brandon and those guys want is me sticking my nose into it because I'm not directing this. But I think, they're going to want to have those things that have that kind of gritty feel to it. And there's plenty of that in Buffalo. And I don't think we're going to be married so much period piece-wise to it or anything. So, you're going to get to see some of the Italian influence, which is vast in Buffalo.
Right.
But it's not. The interesting thing is this is not The Sopranos where we're going to follow one character. There are many multi-pronged, diverse storylines that go on in this script and in the series. So we're going to get to see a real encompassing view of Buffalo, not just because it's a mafia show about the mob either. We're going to get to see a lot of what goes on up there. So, I think that's.
Go ahead. I was just going to say that so for the public knows, if the public has some ideas or would be interested in being extras, I do have an email address for them. All you have to do is go to fornothingbuffalocc@yahoo.com, and that way you can send all your correspondence that way, because I understand you're going to be needing some extras as well. So you mentioned the mafia, you mentioned Italian influence. What kind of guy are you going to be playing?
Well, my character, Joe Falzone, is a guy who he's not at the top of the chain, but he's well up the chain. He has been responsible for a lot of the union activity, and he has a pretty firm grip on the unions of Buffalo, and he also has a hand in the racketeering and stuff that goes on, the numbers. So he's actually a very calculated character. When it's time to make that move to take the next jump to the next level, you want to pick that carefully, particularly in the type of scenario that we're talking about in the mob, because let's face it, when you lose your position, it's rare that it's of old age. You know what I mean? So, when you check out in this kind of a scenario, you're killed. So you want to be really careful when you take the plunge on certain things when it comes to the mob. And Joe is a guy who waits his turn patiently while he still has his hands in a lot of very influential dealings with the mafia.
Listen, Daniel, if this gets picked up, and we sure it will, where do you think we'll see it?
I think this is one of those, with all the content that's going on and to have more license to make it pretty gritty and raw, this is not a network television show. So, I can easily see this being a Netflix, an Amazon play, that kind of thing. But it all starts with this. Go ahead and read the books. And if you can't imagine when you're writing the book, and the test that you have when you read the script or you read any of the books that Nick wrote is the football game is on, and you are want to see how the game is going, but you just picked the book up again that day, and suddenly you forgot that there's a football game on because you're so into the book. Yeah. And that's the material that we're looking at here. So with that said, it has really more to do with the story, and the story being that good, that I think you're going to find people fighting to have this on. I think you're going to see they're going to look at multiple offers from a few different venues. This could be an HBO or a Showtime play, So one thing for sure, we're going to series. I mean, it's that good. So it depends. Let them have a bidding war. Let's have them all bid and war for wanting to have a series in Buffalo.
I think that's a great idea. I wish you all the success, Daniel. And listen, when you are a little closer to Western New York, maybe we can come out and talk with you on set and see how things are going. Or you can come and visit us here on AM Buffalo. How's that sound?
I would love to come in the studio. Thank you for the invitation.
You're so welcome. Listen, you have a wonderful winter so far. It's been nice and mild. Give our best to the family. And once again, we want to thank Daniel Baldwin, who's speaking to us from his home in central New York, getting ready to start to look around Buffalo to shoot their pilot for TV, and we are so excited because it's going to be based on one of Nicholas Denman's books, For Nothing. Daniel, we'll be in touch. Thank you so much. Have a happy new year. And everybody, we're going to take a break and be right back.